You got a flag down.
Oofside.
Everyone but the center. Offense.
Welcome to Oofsides. The boys are back. Wildcard round is over. Who are you people?
Hi, Garrett.
Jack, unfortunately.
Hi, I'm Dewey, back by unpopular demand.
Hell yeah. How'd you guys enjoy the wildcard round?
I liked it a lot.
A lot of games, not very close.
It was
Yeah.
pretty good.
That's
This could be considered agony.
yeah. There have been a lot of close wildcard games for the last couple of years. There's only been a few.
Well, yeah, this wild card round featured a lot of games that were just straight up blowouts from the start.
It was shit. It was shit stomping.
And the one that was close had the dumbest ending possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get right into that first blowout though. Jack, your Buffalo Bills. No other word to describe it, but shit stomped Dewey's Patriots 47-17.
Absolutely waffle stomped those bows.
Waffle stomped.
That was 20 years of pent up anger building inside of that franchise just to smash the shit out of that fucking team. And I loved every second of it.
I mean,
oh god,
I had a feeling going into that game that like the Bills were going to win, but Jesus Christ, I could not have imagined that it would have gone as poorly as it did. Like, I think they're the Bills are the first team ever to go a whole game without punting, kicking a field goal, or turning the ball over.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the first team ever to score in their first 7 possessions in the playoffs, all touchdowns.
They had a literal perfect game.
And and it was the most points that a Bill Belichick coached Patriots team had ever allowed.
Josh Allen had more touchdowns than incompletions.
The Bills also never faced fourth down.
Yeah.
They also never punted the ball.
Yeah. I think what this game showed, I mean, the Patriots definitely have potential going forward, but there's a lot of holes they need to address, especially after that game. But I think it also reaffirmed that, personally, I think the Bills are the best team in the AFC right now.
They're playing. Honestly, I think they're playing better football than anybody right now.
If they get that, if they play like this for the next 3 rounds, it's over.
And they're playing a team they've already beaten this season.
Yeah.
That's the thing too with the Chiefs is like the Chiefs put up a lot of points on the Steelers, but they were dormant for a quarter and a half. And if they don't come out swinging against the Bills, like you're going to find yourself in a deficit early if the Bills are going to roll like this. This game had a lot of the same energy as like big brother beats up on little brother his whole life, and then little brother goes off to college for a couple of years and then comes back ripped and is like, it's on now, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That was that was definitely my favorite Bills game of all time. That's for sure.
Yeah, and the thing about this that
happened that.
The thing about this game that's really shocking is that the Patriots they have one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah.
For the last few years, and
top 5 defensive unit all season, and they blew the biggest wet fart perhaps in playoff history.
Yeah.
I mean, they were nowhere to be found this weekend.
They looked old. I think that's the best way to describe them. Like a lot of their longtime players, like Dante Hightower, they just looked like they couldn't keep up with the Bills.
I think Hightower didn't even play.
Oh no, he had a couple tackles.
But Judon wasn't really there. J.C. Jackson, who had been their lockdown corner all year, he didn't.
He was getting cooked by
Diggs. Diggs ran all over him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was just as a whole, and
he also got cooked by Dawson Knox.
I mean, the offense didn't even do that bad. Like, Mac had 2 picks, but he also threw for about 230 yards and threw for 2 touchdowns. Like, offensively, it wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't enough to go out there and win a playoff game, especially with the way the defense played.
Yeah.
But what it also shows, too, the Patriots, despite being okay on offense, they need a number 1 receiver incredibly bad.
Yeah.
I mean, Aguilar, I think, had 1 catch the whole game. I think Hunter Henry had 1 catch the whole game. I don't know if Jonnu Smith got a reception at all in that game.
He's not on the stat sheet, no.
I mean, Kendrick Bourne was far and away the star of that game and has been the last couple weeks, but they desperately need a guy to lead that receiving core.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it goes to show that, like, even if they turned things around, they're still kind of a step away from being back.
And they might as well try to improve the defense at this point with the way that went. Yeah. You're not going anywhere in the playoffs playing that like that.
I was at Supercross in Oakland while this game was happening, and I was like checking on my phone while we were there. And I remember like checking right as it had started on the train there, and it was like 7-0. I was like, all right. And then we're sitting in the stands, and I check the score, and it's like 30. God, I can't remember.
It's like 33-3 or something.
Yeah, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, it went downhill fast.
Yeah. This is a game where the Bills came to play, and they need that same energy to roll into Arrowhead for these, and whoever they face if they win that one out of the Bengals and Titans matchup, because I think the Titans got the bye. So
yeah, they did.
It kind of seemed like the Patriots were hoping that what worked for them before was going to work again, because obviously the time they beat the Bills, they ran the ball basically every play of the game. But then they lost the game in Foxborough where there was, I guess, a more normal offense. And it didn't seem like they really changed anything up at all, but they still hoped it was going to be enough to win. And, like, that's not how that works.
Yeah, well, yeah, you guys didn't have 50-mile-an-hour winds.
And 17 passing yards.
Yeah, and the Bills figured out actually how to run in the past few weeks.
Yeah, because that's the thing also is the Bills, they kept a lot of their skill guys kind of fresh over the last few weeks. And now you have Devin Singletary's a legit threat on the ground alongside Josh Allen. You have Isaiah McKenzie sometimes. Like, they're no longer just the Josh Allen show. Like, Josh Allen is playing at like an MVP level right now, but he doesn't have to carry the team now.
Mm-hmm.
And it came at a really opportune time for the Bills as well, because the Patriots, they've had a good passing defense this year, but the run defense has been struggling virtually the entire year.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave up, I think, they beat the Titans earlier this year, but they gave up like 230 yards of offense on the ground in that game. Like, they've had trouble stopping the run all year, and once the Bills got that going, the floodgates just opened.
Yeah.
So the Buffalo Bills basically embarrass a team, that you could say in a way represents America. Surely the most embarrassing loss of the week for a team that really represents the entire country, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sure. Where's America's team at?
On the couch at home, because the Cowboys lost to the 49ers 23-17.
Good segue.
I believe last week I said that I was like, I'm picking the Cowboys, but I am scared of the 49ers. And this is why.
And I picked them right.
I like how my stupid rant last week about they had in no shit fashion of they have to win this game to move on, which no shit. But here's the thing.
Wow, really?
Here's the thing. They didn't do that.
I'm telling you,
Mark is gonna win. Thanks, Booger.
You had one job. And what happened in this game? Because I didn't really get to watch a lot of it except for the last little bit.
Bro, I watched every quarter except for the last quarter.
Oh, you missed the best one.
I know. I fell asleep. I needed to take a fat nap because I woke up at 6 a.m. that day.
The Niners dominated those first three quarters.
Yeah, and then Kyle Shanahan, being Kyle Shanahan, tried to throw the game away in the fourth quarter, but Mike McCarthy was like, no, I insist. Please, after you. Shout out to Rich Eisen, who all season was saying that the thing that always is the downfall of the Cowboys is terrible coaching in big spots, and they always get in the way of themselves. And what the fuck happened today? 14 penalties in a playoff game. Randy Gregory just tackling offensive linemen all day for no reason, and then he finally started getting penalized for it at the end of the game. Dak has not played well for the last like 2 months, but
doesn't he have like a calf injury or some shit?
He did, and then since he's come back to
lingered.
that, he had like one good game, and then he's just struggled since then.
Yeah.
And Ezekiel Elliott really didn't do much of anything either. I guess it came out a couple days ago that he played the whole season on a torn PCL.
Yeah.
Jesus
But
Christ.
even despite that, Tony Pollard kind of outperformed him, I think, the second half of this season.
Tony Pollard has been outperforming him for probably fucking 2 years now, honestly.
Like, I know you're paying Zeke a lot of money, but like,
Tony Pollard is super underrated.
Are hurt. Maybe you should play people who are healthy and let these guys heal, because that totally didn't derail my other favorite team this season.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
So, the Cowboys, like they do, came out completely flat against the 49ers, because honestly, the 49ers are the team out of the NFC West that I fear the most in the playoffs. Like, to me, they are the most legit team. And we'll get into the other two
except
later.
for the quarterback play.
They've just been injured all over the place for 2 years now, and they're finally starting to get healthy again.
Yeah.
Is that the 49ers record coming into the playoffs looks very deceiving, because it makes them look like they're the one that's like having to fight their way through every round. But they've played a lot of close games with a lot of big teams this year.
Yeah.
And had potential to run up with the Rams and Cardinals, and we'll get to that in a minute. But
they just had a really shitty start to the season.
Yeah.
That's all, really.
I mean, the Niners, they had the Green Bay game. That win was in hand, and then, Rodgers did Rodgers things, and we'll see if they can do that again this weekend. And they have the close game with the Titans. They've had a lot of close games, but they managed to win all the right ones.
Yeah. I will say this about Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, he has these weird spurts where he just kind of looks like he forgets how to play quarterback for a quarter.
Yeah.
And that happened in the fourth quarter this week. But, like, when he's on, this team is unstoppable, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy to think about 2 months ago where this team was like, who the fuck is going to play quarterback? Because, like, Trey Lance is hurt. Jimmy Garoppolo looks like shit. And then, and then he just turned it around.
Yeah.
I believe the Niners were 6-0 in the regular season when he did not commit a turnover.
Yeah, something like that.
And, like, only 4-7 when he committed at least one.
Jesus Christ.
So basically, the first 3 quarters of this game was all 49ers, tons of Cowboys penalties. Crowning achievement of the Cowboys in this game was they ran a fake punt and got it. Like, it was a great fake punt. And then McCarthy just, like, left Brian Anger and the special teams squad out there until the clock ran to 10 seconds, and then they tried to shuttle the offense in as if they were going to run a play on first down with Brian Anger, the punter, under center, and he was trying to catch the 49ers off guard, and Kyle Shanahan was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then they got a delay of game penalty, which then meant they had 1st and 15, and then they punted at the end of that drive.
That might have been like one of the stupidest things I've ever seen on a football field.
I have to say, shout out to Brian Anger, though, for hitting the Jumbotron with a punt in that game.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the stupidest thing in this game, that's for sure.
Yeah. So that happened.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It was 23-7 going into the fourth quarter, and then the Cowboys clawed their way back in. And then, as if Kyle Shanahan has like an aversion to just winning games when he has a lead, was like, no, Mike, after they forced a turn, or basically they got the ball back on 4th down from the Cowboys with like 2 minutes left. And then the Cowboys stop them on 4th down, except Randy Gregory decides to just straight up fucking tackle one of the O-linemen, which gives them a penalty. It gives them a fresh set of downs, which means it chews up all the Cowboys' fucking timeouts. They face 4th and 1 again. And because Kyle Shanahan just can't call a QB sneak, they motion Trent Williams, the fucking O-lineman, who never motions, and they get called for a fucking false start because it's like, you got this right, which gives the Cowboys the ball back, and then sets up... Actually, no, because then they go into prevent, except the Cowboys are in a situation where they have like 70 yards to go and no timeouts. So what do? Oh, we're going to guard the middle of the field. That's what we're going to do. The Cowboys pick up like 60 yards in like 4 plays. just free yardage, stopping the clock every time. And I'm like, what
stupid.
is happening?
Yeah, Patriots fans know something about Kyle Shanahan blowing games.
Oh my God. But then, Mike McCarthy decided he was not going to be upstaged in this.
Oh my God.
When, with 14 seconds left, they ran a quarterback draw up the middle of the field with no timeout. Dak just took off running down the middle of the field and slid about 20 yards down the field.
And then gave the ball to the lineman instead of the ref.
He gives the ball to the lineman, which the way
the ref has to place it.
Yeah, so the way they'll usually handle this, Mike Pereira talked about this week, is that in these situations, they tell the refs, don't worry about the spot, just touch the ball, let them snap it, and we'll respot it on second down. That's all that matters. So Cowboys fans want to be like, why was the back judge like 30 yards away? I don't know, maybe because he wasn't expecting a quarterback draw with 14 seconds left.
Are you? I don't know how they're also expecting referees to like move down the field that fast. These dudes are like their 40s and 50s and 60s. Like you can't just expect them to run as fast as fucking Dak Prescott's going to.
So it's this mad fucking scramble. And, like, the center has spotted the ball. Dak's lined up under him, and the
ref has to pick it up and move it because the center put it in the wrong place.
Yeah. And the fucking time runs out before they snap the ball. Game over, 23-7.
I think they actually had, like, did they snap the ball before I think they might have snapped the ball, but then Dak spiked it.
Yeah, they might have snapped it with a second left, but either way, there was not enough time to run another play.
Yeah.
I just don't get why you would at least try to, do a pass play, gain maybe 10, 15 yards, run out of bounds like you had done the entire drive before that, and it was fucking working because the Niners decided, you know what? We're not going to stop them anymore.
Yeah.
And then let's run it up the middle, which is the one place you cannot go in a situation
They
like
just
that.
they just let fate take over in that situation.
Oh my God.
It was like, are we meant to win this game? And Mike McCarthy said yes.
I just wonder, like, was that McCarthy's call? Was that Kellen Moore's call? Did Dak call an audible? Like, what the hell happens there?
Whoever called it, like, even if it is Kellen Moore, if you're Mike McCarthy, you have to come over the headset and be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Or Dak, like, are you fucking stupid? Why would we do a quarterback draw right here? We're not going to be able to run on the play. Like, the only way that would have worked is if you ran it all the way to the end zone.
This only happens with Mike McCarthy teams. The dumbest shit ever.
Yeah. Dan Orlovsky was talking about this week where he was like, what they teach you as a quarterback is like 16 seconds. When you reach 16 seconds, no running at all. Absolutely. And they did this with 14 left. And even then he's like, they clearly weren't ready because he took it through like step by step in a situation where you have to do that. Is if you get to a point where you have to snap it and you have to spike it, you start calling out like 911, everybody get ready. That's the call. And he's like, all the receivers are like standing around like, what the fuck are we doing? Like they weren't expecting Dak to take off running up the middle of the field. Like everything just went wrong on that last play. I don't understand what the fuck the play call was. Like, why?
And if that was on Kellen Moore, now you got a bunch of teams interviewing him for head coaching openings.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, so here's where it gets even worse. So I think Mike McCarthy took credit for it after the game or whatever. And Dak later apologized for this, but they basically blamed the refs and everything. And it was like,
that was stupid.
No, that was your fault, dumbasses.
Oh, and then he kind of did that. He said that weird thing about like fans throwing shit.
Yeah.
Classy fans, of course.
Yeah, and then they were like, the reporter was like, I think they were mad at the refs, and then he said like more power to him or something like that.
And like the NBA Referee Association got mad at them before the NFL Referee Association did.
Which is like the most out of character thing for Dak Prescott to say, which that's what he apologized for.
And I believe he got fined for it today.
Probably. But the thing that's idiotic about this is it's like Kellen Moore is supposed to be this hot coaching prospect, which Jerry Jones doesn't want to lose. But you also have Dan Quinn, who turned this Cowboys defense into something fucking scary, dude.
Oh boy, did he ever.
And it's either like you keep McCarthy and lose one or both of them, or you fire McCarthy and you make either Quinn or Kellen Moore your head coach and keep one or both of them. And it looks like they're going to stick with McCarthy, which means they're probably going to lose both of them. So, because somebody's going to hire Dan Quinn.
It can only end well with that one. I do not
teams
trust
would be
Dan
stupid
Quinn.
to pass up Dan Quinn.
I still do not trust Dan Quinn enough. I know he revitalized that fucking defense, but I think he's good as a defensive coordinator and not a head coach.
Well, see, here's the thing with Dan Quinn.
Watch me be wrong in a year, and he'll go fucking 16-1, and I'll fucking eat bees.
Yeah, the thing with Dan Quinn is, if he becomes a head coach again, if his offensive coordinator is literally anybody but Kyle Shanahan, I think he'll do a good job.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, the thing with Shanahan is like, because Shanahan was there for the 2016 Falcons, which like that was a great team. They just made some baffling decisions down the stretch. It was Shanahan left, and Dan Quinn is not an offensive-minded head coach, and they couldn't really find somebody to replace him. But yeah, if he could find a great offensive coordinator, like I still think Dan Quinn could be an all right coach. But I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Who knows? But people are knocking on his fucking door now. That's for sure.
Just the lasting image of this entire game, though, the way that whole thing went down, the Nickelodeon broadcast, as the final credits were rolling, putting the horns in the smoke on Mike McCarthy as the broadcast ended.
That is incredible.
Is the most
brutal.
It just fits so well to how that game ended.
Yeah. I gotta read you guys the text conversation between me and my dad. My
shout
dad...
out to Dak for winning MVP despite losing.
Yeah, same thing as Mitch Trubisky last year.
Hell yeah.
So I text my dad is like a lifelong Cowboys fan, and so and then that's how I became this. So I texted him, nothing like running a QB sneak with 14 seconds left and no timeouts, LOL. Easily the most Cowboys way to lose a game I've ever seen. And he just said, they deserve to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it with NFC East coaches and running quarterback sneaks at times you shouldn't?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, what was the one? I read it last season, the one that my dad sent to me where he said, we're Browns fans for now.
Oh, fuck.
God.
The thing that I wonder, though, is regardless of how that whole thing went, like, have the Cowboys, as they're assembled now, have they hit their ceiling already? Like, can they get any further than this with the way that they're built?
This is the thing.
Maybe?
I think the roster's fine. The things that confuse me, nobody likes to talk about that. Dak comes up flat in big games all the time, but nobody talks about it because it's more fun to make fun of the entire Cowboys team as a whole.
Oh yeah, of course.
It
but
is
like,
pretty fun.
What's the big team? What's the big game that Dak has won? Because like the Cowboys have like 2 games against teams with winning records over the last 3 years. Like, what's the? I mean, yeah, he had a great game against the Bucks this year, which they lost.
But they lost.
Like, I don't know what it is, but then you've also had 2 coaches back to back who are notable for, terribly utilizing all of their talented players. Yeah. So I don't know what the fuck it is.
Honestly,
I don't know
3.
how you go forward with McCarthy after this year.
I would say 3. You could group Wade Phillips in there too at this point.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Pretty much since Barry Switzer resigned at this point.
Yeah, honestly, you could put Barry Switzer in that category. That was a team that won a Super Bowl in spite of their coach.
Okay, so literally every coach in their history except Tom Landry and Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, it's like you had Landry, and then Jerry Jones pissed off Jimmy Johnson. God, that's a lot of J's. And then they've literally just been trying to find his replacement since then.
Yep, Jimmy Johnson famously fired from a Super Bowl winning team and then became a 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion.
Yeah. Fuck off. Wait.
What a career.
I've never actually looked it up. Why the fuck did Jimmy Johnson get fired from that team?
He and Jerry Jones just didn't see eye to eye.
Oh, that makes sense.
It was a thing where it was like Jerry wanted to take credit for all the championships and Jimmy was like, bitch, what?
It was a similar situation to what happened a couple weeks ago between Brian Flores and the Dolphins owner minus the championships.
Or imagine like when Phil Jackson was in the Bulls. How it was like they had put together the greatest team of all time. And he was like, I don't care if we go 82-0. I'm fucking quitting at the end of this year. I'm done.
That's awesome. Hard as fuck.
Oh, Cowboys, what would we do without them?
I'd
They
probably
bring
be a
us
lot happier
endless.
without them. So.
They bring us endless joy.
Yeah.
And one last note about this season in the Cowboys. Shout out to Trevon Diggs for getting the most interceptions of any player this season while allowing the most yards.
How is he an All-Pro?
Dude.
How is he an All-Pro?
Because if he doesn't stop them, he
understand.
catches. If he doesn't stop them, he either catches the ball.
If he doesn't get a pick, he gives up a touchdown.
He's a first fucking All-Pro team. What the fuck?
He is a three true outcome style hitter.
He's just Jameis Winston in 2019.
He really
is
is.
a cornerback.
He's got a point.
Oh my god.
I hate this.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Niners?
God.
Oh,
yeah, no,
man.
I was like, when I found out that the Cowboys were playing the 49ers in the first round, I was like, well, good win.
You
like,
basically, you drew the worst matchup, I think.
Yeah.
I
the
think
49ers have taken the title from the Colts as the team nobody wants to face right now. So.
I think they would have had an easier time with the Rams than the Niners.
Yeah, honestly.
Maybe. Yeah.
And speaking of the Rams, they
we should not go into that because that's Monday.
Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah.
You know who did win a playoff game?
We're leaving that to last.
You know who did win a playoff game though?
Yeah, they did.
The Cincinnati Bengals.
We can finally send text messages about the Bengals winning a playoff game.
It's happened.
Man. Hell has frozen over.
Oh my god. Honestly, you can just say any form of messaging outside of sending a letter has never said... actually, no, emails probably existed back then.
No, wait. Did fucking pagers exist then?
Yeah, pagers did exist. Okay.
Yeah.
So, we'll put like a tweet, a Discord message, a Facebook post,
an Instagram, anything.
An AIM message. Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ, that's an old one.
I'm sure there was nothing controversial that happened in this game either, right?
Let's go check the second quarter.
So, the play of this game was basically it was right before half. Burrow rolling out to his right. They're at like the 30 or 40 yard line, and he is about to step out of bounds when he throws to the end zone, where I believe it was Tyler Boyd caught it. No, it wasn't Tyler Boyd.
I think it was Uzoma.
I know it was either Uzoma or Boyd. Catches it for a touchdown, but a whistle was blown midair. So the official standing right there on the fucking sideline was like, yeah, he stepped out of bounds, even though he was like 2 feet away from stepping out of bounds before the ball was out of his hands.
God.
And it became this situation where the touchdown stood, but you couldn't like rule this without fucking one of the two teams over.
Exactly.
Like, because
if you rule it incomplete, you fuck over the Bengals because he wasn't out of bounds.
Yeah.
But you let it stand, then you're screwing over the Raiders because then a touchdown was caught after a whistle was blown.
Yeah.
Like, they stepped on their own feet and couldn't get out of it.
They kind of tied their hands there with that one.
Exactly.
As Matt said, you're not going to make everyone happy in that situation.
And the thing that Mike Pereira talked about that he was really upset with is that because of the rule book, a player stepping out of bounds, like that's not were they out of bounds before they threw the ball or something? Or it was like an erroneous whistle or something. It isn't reviewable. He's like, when the official blows the whistle, it's dead. It's done. He's ruled out of bounds. You can't review that. That's the ruling on the field. To then go back and say, well, it was an erroneous whistle. Well, it wasn't. He blew it with intention. He was just wrong. And so there shouldn't even be a review or a play after that because by the rules of football, that catch didn't happen because it just doesn't exist. And
it was a great play too.
Yeah.
That he continued that play and threw on the run like that. It was a fantastic play by Burrow. It just technically by the rules shouldn't have counted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
And the rule that they invoked was that, oh, well, a whistle was an erroneous whistle, which implies that it was blown on accident. And it's like, but that's not what happened.
It's also still
that's literally not what happened. Like, you're just changing what, like, it. If it's, we could debate that it's a bad rule, which I'm not arguing in favor that, like, oh, the Raiders got fucked over here. Like, it was an unfortunate play for both teams, but the rule says that it should have been, that was the end of the down, or the end of the play, and then it's second down.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Good thing this game wasn't settled by a touchdown.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh.
I have to say, though, the Raiders, not just in this game, but the whole season, played their heart out with everything that they had happened to them.
Yeah, that
absolutely.
team should have not made the playoffs.
I mean, Gruden resigning, the whole thing with Ruggs, they had the issue with Arnett. I mean, their identity, John Madden passed. Like, the amount of things that they had to endure, and they still made it this far. And you know what? If that ruling had been overturned, they damn well could have won that game.
Yeah.
But the part that I think it's not even just about the game at this point. The fact that they did all of that, they made the playoffs for the first time in 6 years. There's all this momentum that's there. And then they fired their general manager after conducting an interview with somebody else for a position that wasn't even vacant yet.
I don't like the firing of Mayock at all.
I mean, their drafting has been hit or miss, but
well, because that's the crazy thing is their first round picks have been bad. Everything after that's been awesome.
They got Renfro in the 5th round, I think.
Yeah, Mayock's responsible
for
for Max Crosby. Pretty sure Josh Jacobs.
Well, it's like
Jacobs was, I think, late 1st round. Gruden gone differently if Gruden wasn't there trying to put his own opinion in there. Like, would they have taken Cleveland Farrell in the 1st round in the top 5 if John Gruden wasn't in Mayock's ear telling him what to do? Perhaps, like, it's hard to judge that.
Yeah, we probably will never know.
I mean, I think Mayock could get another job somewhere. Maybe he'll go back to TV, but I think either way, he got fired way sooner than he should have.
There's some garbage fucking GMs getting kicked out.
And there's some other openings, too. The Vikings and Bears both have openings.
He could go to the fucking New York Giants, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Gettleman retired. There's definitely opportunities.
Retired is a funny way of saying fired, but...
Refired.
The thing exactly. That upsets me the most about this is that means that Bisaccia is not keeping his job, which is a fucking crime, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
He has done an awesome job keeping his team together.
So good.
And I saw that there's a post as well. Apparently, after the game, he hand wrote a letter to every single player on the team, thanking them for all their contributions in the season. Like, genuinely good guy.
How do you not keep him around either? God, it just pisses me off that you finally have some upwards momentum, and then
you get rid of the people that got it for you.
That's Raiders football, man. That's Raiders football.
It is so frustrating. I'm glad I'm not a Raiders fan because I'd be rip shit with the way the last 5 days have gone.
Yeah.
But even with that, I still think they're on an upward trajectory. But if they do decide to move on from Bisaccia, they need to nail their next head coaching hire.
Yeah. It just upsets me that it's like, man, this team felt special. Like, I didn't think they were going to go. I didn't even think they were going to win a playoff game. That was
but
just
the fact that they were there.
And it was the Bengals in the playoffs, too.
I think the Raiders being good is good for football.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So, frustrating way to end it, but, the fact that they only lost, I'm pretty sure this was outside the Cowboys game, the closest loss of the week. So, they showed fight, but unfortunately, they were just a little overmatched.
Just 1 yard short.
But shout out to the Bengals for finally getting it done as well. Like,
they did something, yeah.
Yep.
I think regardless of who won, there was a good story out of that game.
Yeah. So, a game that was not at all close, unlike that one. The Buccaneers rolled over the Eagles 31-15. The Eagles, once again, kings of garbage time, because they were down 31-0 for almost all of this game. There was a point where the Buccaneers had 200 and something yards to the Eagles 12. So,
I have a question.
Yes.
How the fuck did the Eagles make the playoffs?
I don't know.
Because everyone else is bad.
Jesus fucking Christ. This team.
I mean, who's behind them?
Yeah.
Oh, you got the Saints. Never mind.
Yeah, that's the thing when you expand to 7 is there are so many buff teams in that conference, but then when you get to 7 and 6 and 7, it's like you start getting in iffy territory.
There are some years where that's going to look good, and there are some years where it's going to look terrible.
The 7 seed is so dumb to me. There's only one team getting a bye, and it's just, ugh.
Well, both 7 seeds this week got
I feel
railed.
I feel like they just need to go down. I don't know if they should go down. I feel like there needs to be the top 2 teams should be having a bye. I don't know how that's gonna work, but I'm not person in charge of it. So.
I think the craziest stat, maybe even ahead of all the stuff from the Bills game, that including the playoffs, the Eagles were 9-2 this year against teams that did not make the playoffs, and they were 0-7 against teams that did.
Yep.
Like, they were the least playoff team, perhaps, ever.
Yeah, like it's cool for a team that coming into the season, everybody was like, "Oh, everything's terrible to make the playoffs," and like especially with Hurts' first full-time season and Sirianni's first year, but it was like they got fucking pulverized into the ground.
Yeah,
and it's just they were only there because like nobody else really wanted it.
Yeah,
like the Saints didn't want it, the Vikings especially didn't want it, the Bears didn't want it. And arguably those 3 teams, I think, could have beaten the Eagles, but just the 7th seed just ended up being pretty bad this year.
Shout out to first-round draft pick Jalen Reagor having 1 reception for 2 yards
over Austin Jefferson. Literally one of the most. He was he the first ever? Was he the first wide receiver picked in that draft?
I believe Ruggs was. He was either him or Judy.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Reagor
got over Justin Jefferson. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it reminds me of how the Patriots picked N'Keal Harry before Deebo Samuel.
Oof.
But the Jalen Reagor had fewer receiving yards over the entire season than Henry Ruggs did up until when he was arrested.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so Ruggs was drafted 12th, Judy 15th. The Eagles wanted CeeDee Lamb, but the Cowboys took him at 17, so they were like, okay, we'll take Reagor at 21, and then Justin Jefferson went with the next pick, and Brandon Ayuk. So you have Henry Ruggs, who was developing into a star, Jerry Jeudy, who's been pretty good, CeeDee Lamb, who's been awesome, Justin Jefferson, who was a Pro Bowler as a rookie, and Brandon Ayuk is having a great career so far. Oh yeah, also taken after him were T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, Chase Claypool, Van Jefferson,
Gabe Davis is in there.
Yeah, Devin Duvernay, Gabe Davis.
Christ.
Yeah, it was great pick.
Oh,
Donovan Peoples-Jones taken down in the 6th round. Yeah.
That was a steal for the Browns down there.
Yeah, it was. So, Jalen Reagor with a whopping 280 yards this season.
Don't worry, the Eagles are gonna draft a first round wide receiver and fail on that one too.
I want to see how many they've done because there's Aguilar, there's Reagor, there's somebody else they've taken recently too.
I think maybe Jeremy Maclin in the last 10 years.
No, Maclin was around with like Andy Reid's teams.
But I don't get some of their personnel decisions because that receiving core had been struggling all year, and the guy that led the team in receiving last year, Travis Fulgham, got cut in the preseason.
Yeah. Even going back to last year's draft where it was like, hey, you made the playoffs with Carson Wentz.
Oh yeah.
Like, you have no skill position players. What should we take with our 2nd round pick? I don't know, a quarterback? And then, what? Wentz is upset, and now he's playing like shit, and now Wentz is gone.
And it's like,
it turns out that Jalen Hurts is probably not that guy.
And Jalen Hurts is all right, but like
not great. He's not a franchise quarterback, I don't think.
Was it worth disassembling your entire team for him?
It's hard. It's hard to tell if like. I'm curious how they would have done if the only difference was Wentz on this team instead of Hurts, and everyone else was the same. Would they have made the playoffs?
No.
And to me, that is a really, really tough question to answer.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
I think part of the reason, like, I don't think Wentz is great, but you look at, like, who were the receivers with Wentz in 2020? Or, like, their O-line was terrible, and he got sacked like crazy, and he was just playing awful. And it was like, you gotta fucking support your dude instead of drafting competition. for somebody whose ego is already a little damaged from having Nick Foles come in and steal your thunder, and then who's reportedly kind of sensitive.
Which is ironic because he got traded to a team that forced their last franchise quarterback into retirement early because of the same thing.
Yep.
Reminder, fuck the Colts, and they deserve to lose on...
Well, even if you look at Wentz when he played in Indy this year, I mean, the run game was what dominated the offense over there. So he wasn't even that... Yeah.
They had one of the best rushing attacks in the entire league, but passing, it was rough.
Yeah, they were not good passing here at all.
And it's hard to tell if this is one of those teams that can build on this, like the Raiders, or if this was some like fool's gold year where they're going to sink to like 2-15 next year. There's so many question marks over there.
I'm gonna guess they're not gonna have more than wins next year. I think
I have no idea. We should probably talk about the Buccaneers.
Yeah, they did. They dominated. It's not that.
Yeah, actually, there's really not much to say.
Moving right along.
I mean, the Bucs didn't escape without their own issues, though. I mean,
true.
They're starting, I think, right tackle Tristan Wirfs. He got injured in that game. Their starting center Ryan Jensen got injured in that game. Fournette hasn't come back yet. Godwin's still out for the season. I mean, if that O-line isn't healthy by Sunday, they're going to have a really hard time with the Rams.
Yeah.
Probably.
So, good win for the Bucs, but not without some problems.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
if they're on their second or third string lineman against Aaron Donald, it's going to be fun. That's for
and
sure.
Von Miller.
Yeah.
I mean...
We'll get to them in a second, but one more game from the Sunday endeavors.
Boy.
Yeah. I'm sure.
What a joy of a game this was.
Somebody
it's almost a repeat of earlier.
Finally took out the Steelers.
Thank fucking Christ.
Although the idea of Ben Roethlisberger being forced to play another game when he clearly doesn't want to and he just wants to retire is really funny. Like
it is, he deserves it. Fuck you, you rapist.
That episode of South Park where they're playing Little League and none of them want to anymore, and they're like, "We're gonna lose," and they're like, "No, we're gonna lose," and they can't lose. That's like Ben Roethlisberger. He's like, "Please, I don't want to play football anymore," and the rest of the team's like, "AFC Championship, here we come."
I do want to point out,
damn it, man.
If the Chargers and Raiders had agreed to tie in Week 18 so that they would both make the playoffs, Ben Roethlisberger's Steelers' career would have ended by mutual consent.
Thanks, Staley.
That's a rare one. For him.
Yeah.
All I know is that it would have been a lot more fun if the Chargers were in the playoffs.
Well, that's the thing is can you imagine what this game could have been for the Chiefs if they had to face the Chargers, the Raiders in the first round?
Didn't they have, I think they had the Chiefs would have had to play the Raiders, right?
Yeah,
if they tied, would not have gone well at all for the Raiders.
Chargers would have had to play the Bills. So that
those division matchups are always wonky. So
but
the last time the Raiders played the Chiefs, they lost by even more than the Steelers did.
Yeah,
that is fair.
That was an absolute curb stomping, worse than the Patriots and Bills game went.
I will say one thing. Oh God, I'm tired. They split time of possession right down the middle, which is kind of funny. The Steelers scored first because of a TJ Watt scoop and score. And then the Chiefs scored 35 points in about 10.5 minutes.
I believe it was, of all the quarterbacks to throw 5 touchdowns in a playoff game, Mahomes had the fewest time between those 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It was I think it was 11 minutes of game time. He threw all 5 of them.
Something like that.
It was ridiculous.
His stat line is fucking stupid. 30-39, 404 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a pick. Shout out to Ben Roethlisberger for having 29 completions, I believe. 29 to 44 for 215 yards.
Wow.
That's the thing about the Chiefs, and I wanted to touch on that when we were mentioning the Bills beating them earlier, is they may look dormant at times, but if they get going at all, they are going to curb stomp the shit out of you. And when you look up, you're not even going to know what happened, and you're going to be down by 20.
Yeah.
The way they could just rip off points and touchdowns like that is unlike really anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, Yeah,
Even
my
the Steelers
worst.
looked good at first. It got ugly fast.
Yeah, that's my biggest worry for this game with the Bills and Chiefs coming up that we'll talk about in a bit, is that they'll pull a Texans moment and get out front, and then the Chiefs will just have an insurmountable rally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just...
I think the difference between that, though, is the Bills have the potential to just keep going.
Or sustain a rally like that.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing about the Steelers offense, though, this year is every play is like Roethlisberger takes way too much time. All the O-line is collapsing, and then he goes, "Here, Najee, you take it." And then he like flips it to Najee Harris, who gets fucking killed in the backfield.
Poor Najee Harris.
I don't know.
He does not deserve that team.
I don't know how Najee Harris didn't get injured this year, because I feel like every time I watched the Steelers, he was just getting blown up by 5 guys.
I feel like he was getting fucking like checked down every time I was watching a Steelers game. It was miserable.
That guy took a beating this year.
I feel like that Steelers team might have been one of the most boring fucking teams I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
It was just so miserable to watch.
How they won 9 games, I have no
happen?
idea.
I don't know. You can blame the Bills partially.
Yep. Thanks, Jack.
Agony.
And also the Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't want.
And also John Harbaugh for going for 2 for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it would have been the Ravens against the Chiefs in a rematch in a game that the Ravens had won before, if that he had gone for the extra point.
That was a much healthier Ravens team at that time, though. So finally, somebody killed the zombie Steelers, and another team that had been living on borrowed time for quite a while. That's the Arizona Cardinals, as they fell to the Rams 34-11. This score was an
ugly loss. Ugly loss for the Cardinals.
I don't know if I ever said it on the show, but I have thought for months that the Cardinals were frauds.
Me too. I've thought about it.
I feel a little validated.
DeAndre Hopkins is the MVP of that team. They fell apart after he got hurt.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a testament to why I don't think this team was really that good. Because if you lose one player and then the whole offense just stops functioning, you're not a very good team.
Yeah. I don't think that Cliff Kingsbury is a good head coach at all. He's bad. And
there's a stat where after week 7 in his career across college and the NFL, he's like 16-47.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how bad he is in second halves of the season.
Yeah.
And how you managed to make a college Patrick Mahomes be under 500 is quite something, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the Big 12 at that time was a bloodbath, but with how explosive that Texas Tech offense was, it shouldn't have gone that way.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The play from this game that really catches my eye is when the Cardinals were backed up to like their own 1, and Murray scrambling around trying to look for somebody to throw to, and mid getting tackled, just tosses the ball to whoever's standing over there, and the defender picks him off like at the 1 and takes it back for like the shortest pick 6 in playoff history.
It's like you watched Carson Wentz throw the best pick 6 of all time earlier. Sorry, the smartest pick 6 of all time earlier this season.
Oh yeah.
But in this situation, Kyler didn't realize that a safety actually didn't really kill them because you were already losing like 30-10.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I can't necessarily fault him for that, because if he didn't throw that ball up, it was going to be a safety with the Rams getting the ball back immediately. Like, with the way that play transpired, there really wasn't anything else he could do. And with the way that game had already been going, I think if they had given up the safety, the Rams would have marched right down the field and scored again. So, in a way, they may have actually saved themselves 2 points.
I'm sure that really... that really made the difference in a game that they lost by 23.
No. It wouldn't have made a damn difference.
I get what you're saying, but you can take more of a chance by taking that safety.
Yeah. At least they didn't lose by 25, thank God.
Yeah, but there's more outcomes.
The reason why they were backed up is that the Cardinals defense actually stopped the Rams once, and that's why they were on the
win.
But
then their punter,
because Johnny Hecker is a god,
just punts it,
and he lands
right down to the 1.
Yeah. Johnny Hecker, pretty good.
Yeah.
Highest paid punter in the NFL, I think.
For good reason.
Should be.
For good reason, yeah.
Here's some stats for you, though. let's see, 0 for 9 on third down for the Cardinals.
That's
183 total yards, 122 passing yards, 61 rushing yards. The Rams had just under double the yards per play that the Cardinals did.
And OBJ had more passing yards than Kyler Murray at halftime.
I think all the way up to like almost the end of the third quarter too.
Yeah.
Fucking Christ.
So.
Yeah, and hopefully Budda Baker is recovering well.
Yeah,
that play
was
that was bad.
He got clapped, dude. Fuck.
Yeah. So a lot of questions for the Cardinals after this season. Is Kyler Murray the answer? Is Cliff Kingsbury your coach?
I think
Kyler
is good. He just needs a better staff.
My God, Andy Lee had 90 more yards of punting than Kyler Murray had passing.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh.
Not great.
5 punts for 241 yards.
And I think the Cardinals need to invest more, like not even the offensive line, but that receiving core. Like, you have Hopkins, you have Christian Kirk, but like if those two aren't getting it done, I mean, sure, Zach Ertz is there, but who else can you turn to?
AJ Green was a non-factor.
Yeah,
right.
He's cooked. He's done.
Yeah,
AJ Green
looked
good.
Yeah, AJ Green left the Bengals to go somewhere else to win a playoff game.
They
won a team he left won a playoff game, and the team he went to did not.
Oof. That's brutal.
AJ Green was having like a good season, and then he had that play where he kind of just forgot he was playing football against the Packers, and then that was the game-losing interception. And since then, he's done nothing.
I think that completely killed all of his like.
I think he retired from football, but I don't think he realized that he's still out on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a whole changing point in really the Cardinals season, honestly.
Yeah.
Besides the Cowboys game, they really didn't do anything else the rest of the season. And we've already gone through the issues with the Cowboys, so honestly, at this point, how impressive was that win really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Who knows? Good old Cardinals. Good old Cliff Kingsbury football. And that was the wild card round of the NFL playoffs.
Whoa, football.
Football happened.
Whoa.
Yeah, a lot more head coaching interviews this week.
For a multitude of teams.
Yeah.
The Texans interviewed Josh McCown today.
Dude.
For their head coach.
Please. There needs to be something likable about the Texans.
Absolutely.
Hey, whoa! There is something likable about the Texans. It's called Davis Mills.
Oh, true.
Yeah, let Davis Mills.
The General Davis Mills, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gerard May was interviewed with a couple teams. Dan Quinn interviewed. I think Kellen Moore interviewed with the Vikings yesterday.
Yeah.
I think the Packers offensive coordinator has gone around a little bit.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if the Texans hire anybody other than Brian Flores. Because Nick Caserio wants a Belichick guy. So
Yeah. Even though there's a long track record of Bill Belichick assistants not doing well as head coaches.
Yeah.
When will they learn?
Which is funny because Flores was actually doing a good job. He was like the one that was doing good, and the Dolphins were like, panic before he turns bad.
Yeah, fuck. I just wonder what the fuck are the Texans are going to do with Sean Watson.
That's such a tough one. I mean, I think Flores was the one that wanted Watson in Miami, so that's probably not going to happen now.
That's what makes that situation interesting, because it'd be like, oh, he kind of wanted Watson. It's like he could go to the Texans, and it's like he's going to get there, and then they're going to trade him away as soon as he gets there.
That would be the most Texans thing.
Yeah, I don't think Sean Watson's playing a Texans form.
It'd be a lot like when Anthony Lynn signed with the Lions, and then the Lions immediately traded Matt Stafford, and he was like, wait, hang on. This is the whole reason I came here.
I just don't know where he could go at this point. Like, there are definitely teams that I think would, take him on, but a lot of teams have their guy now.
Yeah.
It's like, where is he going to fit in?
Well, there was a rumor going into last year that it was going to be the Jets, and then that's not going to happen. And then it was the Dolphins, except the Dolphins look like they're going to stick with Tua now.
The one that interests me maybe is the Seahawks. If they decide to part with Wilson.
Yeah, maybe the Seahawks, maybe the
Giants.
I mean, the Giants have plenty of weapons. They just need a quarterback that isn't Daniel Jones.
I'm just thinking of like the media shitstorm that's going to be Deshaun Watson in New York.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
Horrible. It'll be.
I mean, I would have said the Bears maybe before they drafted Fields.
Justin Fields. Yeah, I just don't know who would even fucking go for him. There's people saying Cleveland, but Cleveland looks like they're putting their faith in Baker Mayfield again.
For another year, probably.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, Pittsburgh?
Oh, no. Oh, so, I mean...
Oh, no. Passing the torch.
Yeah.
There's a rumor that they're going to have an open competition between Dwayne Haskins and Mason Rudolph. And God, I can't tell you how badly I want 17 games of Mason Rudolph.
I want to see the practices of those two just fucking throwing bombs to the defense.
Steven would have a meltdown. Like...
I'm imagining the Steven meltdown after it's like starting quarterback Mason Rudolph, and he's like, "No!"
I think in an ideal world the Steelers get Kenny Pickett, but
maybe.
But I just don't know what's. I think that's gonna be the tough part though about filling that job. The Texans' job is not knowing what that situation's gonna end up playing out as.
All I know is that I'm excited for the NFL draft. And I'm very curious on what's going to happen. The Lions are going to try and say fuck it and go for a quarterback second overall.
Like, I think the Bears and Vikings jobs are pretty enticing because there's good foundations there.
Yeah.
But that, like, looking around, I mean, does anybody really want that Jacksonville job even though Lawrence is there?
Well, I think Lawrence is like the main drawing point to that.
Right.
Well, are you talking about like head coaches and shit?
Head coaching, yeah.
Yeah, they got the offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers.
And who would want that Giants job at this point?
What's the offensive coordinators for the
Byron Leftwich.
Leftwich, yeah. That would make sense for him to go to the Jags.
Yeah, I mentioned him a couple weeks ago. Yeah. I mean, I still think Bieniemy could end up in Chicago. But
maybe. I don't know.
I mean, they might not be done though. I still wonder what they're going to do with Pete Carroll in Seattle. Like, are they going to move on at this point?
He's coming back a year. He's coming back one more year.
The rumors say that they're both coming back because if you look at the games where Wilson didn't have the Fingy injury, they were like an above average team.
Yeah, they were decent.
They were tanked by that mid-season slide where Wilson was hurt and they let Geno cook. And yeah. Honestly, they should have let Geno cook more.
Absolutely, I agree.
Well, now he got a DUI, so maybe he cooked a bit too much.
Let Geno cook. Don't let Geno drive. So. Yeah. Should we get into the divisional round?
I don't care.
I think you've waited long enough.
Sure.
Yeah.
How many
Starting
games is for?
With the Bengals retaking their early Saturday afternoon playoff game slot. It's Bengals at the number 1 seeded Tennessee Titans.
Give me the Bengals!
Again, how the fuck did the Titans get into the... How did they get the number 1 seed? I don't
know. Other teams didn't want it enough.
They kind of
fell into it. The Titans are weird because they beat almost all the good teams, but they lost to all the bad teams.
Yeah.
So, like, they embarrassed the Chiefs. They beat the Bills. I think they beat the Bengals.
They beat the Rams.
They beat the Rams. Oh, yeah, and then they also lost to the Jets and the Texans, and almost lost to the Texans a second time. And also, they swept the Colts. So, like, they have all the tiebreakers. Honestly, though, I genuinely don't know how to pick this game, because...
I think it's going to depend on whether or not Derrick Henry plays.
Absolutely.
Well, he's going to.
Well, he's going to play. Well,
he's playing.
What I mean by play is he going to be
like
prime healthy condition where he's going to power the ball down the middle like he's done every single game he's played this year?
The thing is, I don't even think they need to lean on Derrick Henry in this game because their running game has been good even since he's been hurt.
Mhm.
Like,
Well, yeah,
and their
because the
defense is
entire
playing better.
offensive line and the offense is built around him. So if you
Yeah.
just put somebody in there, they're gonna be okay because that's what the offense is built to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dontrell Hilliard and Donta Foreman did pretty respectable jobs back there.
Yeah.
And they had AP for a couple weeks, but the thing for me is how much are they going to involve AJ Brown and Julio Jones?
0.
Well, I was gonna say Julio. Well, AJ Brown's been like a centerpiece of the offense.
Well,
recently,
yeah,
too.
except
Jones
for
is
Julio.
kind of just
Yeah, Julio's
not
Yeah.
really.
Julio's he's
in there at
gotten
all.
healthier. It took him till the final 7 minutes of the regular season to score a touchdown.
Yeah,
but-
Tannehill has just not thrown it to him very much.
Well, he's been hurt all season. That's the
That's true,
problem.
yeah,
he
yeah, I
got
forgot
he
about
got
that.
hurt like week 1 and has been fighting that injury the whole time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wonder if Tannehill is the right guy there, though.
I don't. Y'all are
I
sleeping
don't
on Tannehill. He's played pretty fucking well.
He's played.
He's had some
average.
good games, and he's also had some bad ones.
The thing with Tannehill is he's I feel like Ryan Tannehill is the new Andy Dalton. I feel
No,
like
because he's won a playoff game.
Oh, that's fair. But the Dalton line. If you're below the Dalton line, you're a bad quarterback, and if you're above if you're below the Tannehill line, you're a bad quarterback, and if you're above the Tannehill line, you're a good quarterback.
Yeah, but I would say I think Tannehill's a good player. So I think he's a better
Yeah.
quarterback than people give him credit for.
Yeah, this one is honestly. I think this is going to be the toughest game of the week to pick.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with the Titans simply because they're at home. For no other reason, because they're at home.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Titans. I think the Bengals are a fun team, but the Titans defense has been good. You got Derrick Henry, who's coming off of like 3 weeks of rest, so he's gonna be fresh. And the whole team's coming off a bye.
I think it's still a
can do it.
winnable game for the Bengals, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I'm manifesting a Bengals win, so give me the Bengals.
Yeah, we're split.
Bungles.
Bongles.
Are we still locking since there's only 4 games, or yet? No.
We should.
Yeah,
Those
we can
4
double up on locks though. So because there's
Okay.
very
Oh,
few to
dear
go
Lord.
around.
One conference.
All right. 49ers travel up to the frozen tundra of Green Bay for the Saturday night game against Aaron Rodgers Packers, the other number 1 seed.
Fuck it, I'm gonna lock the 49ers. Why
Yeah,
not?
let's fucking go. I'm taking the
Whoa.
49ers as well.
The Packers
have-
won in the regular season, but Aaron Rodgers has never beaten the 49ers in the playoffs.
I have
Yeah.
a lot of faith in that 49ers run game.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Deebo Samuel just fucking ripping through defenses. It should be interesting.
picking the Niners worked for me once this weekend on the road, or once this playoffs. I'm going to do it again, and it would be a very fitting way for the Aaron Rodgers era to end in Green Bay, to lose at home in the playoffs as the number 1 seed.
Hell yeah.
And I'm here for it if it happens.
Garrett,
Sign me the fuck up for that.
We can't all pick the 49ers. I gotta pick the Packers solely because if we all pick the 49ers, they're going to lose.
Yeah, Garrett.
Wow.
Where the hell did you get that from?
I'm thinking about Derek Carr. Sorry, still on my mind.
Can't stop thinking about Derek
Yeah.
Carr.
Yeah. He's thinking about the female version of Derek Carr.
Damn right I am.
Danielle Carr.
Daniela Carr.
Sunday afternoon, the Los Angeles Rams travel to Tampa Bay to take on Brady's Buccaneers.
This is a huge game
This
Well,
is.
it's gonna be interesting.
because I feel like either one of these teams could march their way to the Super Bowl.
I tell you what, Mark, whoever wins this game is going to move on to the NFC Championship.
Really?
Well,
Teams that beat Tom Brady in the regular season usually do not do very well against him in the playoffs that same year.
I'm gonna
Give
lock.
me the Buccaneers.
I'm gonna lock the Rams. Here's why.
Oh,
Back to those injuries from
fuck.
earlier, because they're down some more people. And as we said earlier, you got Aaron Donald, you got Jalen Ramsey, you got Von Miller. There's so many defensive pieces that they have healthy that they could use. And I think they'll get them twice. Locking the Rams.
I mean, I think the Rams could very well win that game, and even though the Buccaneers have the injury
if
stuff,
if Tom Brady wins, I won't be surprised. But
it's Brady at home in the playoffs. Like, that is about as tall of a task as there could be for an NFL team in a game. Like, it would not shock me if the Rams win this game, but I think the Bucs are going to find a way.
Give me the Rams.
Man, I really don't want to pick the Buccaneers, but I feel like I have more faith in them than the Rams.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Stafford has looked really, really good at times, and then there's been some games where it's like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
He also has the fuck it OBJ down there somewhere.
Do I want a faith pick again because it went really poorly for me last week?
Probably not.
Yeah, I mean,
that's because you did it with the Cowboys.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
No, true. Yeah.
Oh.
You know what? Fuck it. Give me the Rams. Let's go.
Well, I'm in the minority for this one.
I'm manifesting a Rams-Bengals Super Bowl.
And finally,
I'd be down for that.
Sunday night, the Bills travel to Arrowhead to play the Chiefs once more.
I am locking the fucking Bills.
Oh dear God!
It really depends on what Bills team we see. If we see Brian Daboll play with his head up his ass for the umpteenth time this year, or we let Josh Allen play like a fucking crack addict who's good at football.
He's gonna.
I thought you said play with his ass, and I got
Josh
really
Allen's gonna listen to Young Boy before the game.
Yeah,
and
he needs
Bills
to
are gonna win.
Yeah, it's so weird because both teams in the second half of the season have been awfully hot.
Yeah.
So it's hard to pick between these two.
If the Bills played the way they did against the Patriots, I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. Honestly, that is as good of an offensive team as any when they play like that.
And this is the game of this conference where I think of these two teams probably is going to the Super Bowl. So, yeah.
Actually, yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, because, Titans-Bengals is a good game, but they have to go against either the Chiefs or the Bills, who are the two hottest teams right now.
So I don't know, because if it's a Bengals-Chiefs rematch, I could see the Bengals winning again.
Yes, but I don't know. We'll get there if it happens, but I'm gonna pick the Chiefs. I hope I'm wrong, but I won't. It's one that I'm not gonna be surprised if it happens.
This is just basically a coin flip, so I'm just gonna coin flip.
Oh my God.
Why are you coin flipping on your team?
Let's fuck it. Oh, looks like
I'm against the Patriots.
Fuck it.
All
right. Wow, I did not expect that at all.
If they play like they did in New England, against New England, with a team that they've already beaten this season, beat by almost 20 points, that is a good outlook.
Chiefs, though. It's a different Chiefs team than what the Bills played.
I think that's a different Bills team too, though. Like, the Bills started off good, but they had that really rough stretch in the middle of the year, and they've been on it since.
Start off good.
well,
not in week one, that's for sure.
After that, but they've been on another level since the first Patriots game.
Yeah,
they have not lost since then.
Yeah,
and they're doing great in every area that you need to. And again, they've already beaten the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs have improved. I think they're going to get it done.
Yeah. I don't like double locking with Dewey, so I'm going to lock the Titans. Because fuck it. And that is our divisional round preview. Any closing thoughts, you guys?
Manifesting Bengals Rams Super Bowl.
I need to run to the grocery store to buy more McCorkle and cheese packs.
I'm manifesting a Bills and 49ers Super Bowl.
Good thing you picked the Chiefs.
Yeah. Well, I'm just, reverse psychology, whatever.
Oh, true. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
So, on that note, has been Oofsides, I guess. Boofsides.
Speaking of smoking, Oofsides.
Yeah.
Shut up.
This has been the boys on Oofsides. Getting ready for some playoff football, baby. We'll see you next time. Fire microphone.